2 is where I start to go a little bit different than consensus, because consensus is Tyree Wilson, right? He's consensus sort of edge 2 right now. I go different. Nolan Smith from Georgia.
Wow. Love it.
I absolutely loved watching. I absolutely love studying him. And in talking to some other people that, sort of look at the edge position and look at, pass rushers and things like that, they sort of shared that sentiment. Some people that I know and trust really liked him. I loved his athleticism off the edge. He seemed to have a more complete pass rushing toolkit with counters, with hand usage, with long arm techniques that really impressed me studying him. Obviously tested pretty well. I'd say very well. And you start looking at, okay, is he undersized? Yeah. Is he a bit of a tweener? Yeah. What is he sort of compared to? Hassan Reddick. Imagine just for a second having not 1 but 2 Hassan Reddicks on your defensive front. And so, I'm getting ready to put out a mock draft next week. Nolan Smith at 10 makes a lot of sense.
The Nolan Smith pick is really interesting because there was some noise between Nolan Smith and the Eagles 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, and it makes a ton of sense. Absolutely makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I really loved studying him. When you look at some of the plays that he's made off the edge, some of the plays that he's shown you, it's what you want to see from an edge rusher, right? The ability to use your hands effectively, the ability to counter an offensive tackle, the ability. One of the things I really liked about him was how he sometimes set blockers up, stressing leverage, stressing the outside shoulder because he knows he wants to come inside, stressing the inside shoulder because he knows he wants to get to the outside. I think he's got a really good pass rushing plan, which I love to see. And you fold in that athleticism off the edge. Very impressive prospect.
Coming in number 6 is Nolan Smith out of Georgia. Here is one of the biggest winners at the NFL Scouting Combine. He ran a blazing 4.39 second 40-yard dash, which is faster than both Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Stephon Diggs when they were coming out. The Georgia outside linebacker recorded a 41.5-inch vertical that would have been the second highest mark of any player at last year's Combine, trailing only Seattle Seahawks cornerback Tariq Woolen at 42 inches. Smith measured in at 6'2" and 238 pounds. He had 32+ inch arms, and he had an absurd 1.51 second 10-yard split. How does that split time compare to NFL edge rushers? That mark is higher than Nick Bosa, Von Miller, Max Crosby, and Myles Garrett.
All right, let's go on to my number 5, who is number 6 for both Dibes and Mark. It is Nolan Smith, the edge rusher out of Georgia. Smith was a 5-star prospect, the top overall player in his high school class. He is a 4-year contributor at Georgia. He did tear a pectoral muscle in 2022, and that ended his season after 8 games. So he's coming off of that injury. He is 6'2", which is 15th percentile, 238 pounds, which is 2nd percentile. So he is small. Just over 22 years old. He ran a 4.39 40, which is 99th percentile with a 41.5-inch vertical, 98th percentile. He has a 9.21 relative athletic score. So super athletic. 18 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and 1 pass defensed in 8 games. His highest sack total in a season was 4.5 in 2021. So he has not been a high sack player. But you watch him play, and he explodes off the line to threaten upfield at the snap, and he has ridiculous bend. He's able to dip under offensive tackles regularly when they try to punch, and he gets to the quarterback. Despite his size, he's a strong edge setter in the running game, and he's really good at using his athleticism to string plays out to the sideline and make plays. And I would say he's a very good tackler. And similarly to what I said with BJ Ojulari, he negates the read option really well with his athleticism, but he's undersized at the position, and he can be stonewalled when he's facing athletic tackles who have the ability to run him around the horn. He doesn't really have power moves to get around that. So he doesn't have much in the way of counter moves if he can't bend around the edge or just push you backwards. So he needs some more tools in the toolkit, but he's highly athletic. He kind of flew up draft boards at the combine when he ran his 40 and he did his vertical jump and all those sorts of things. He's the guy you want playing wide in space, a wide 9 defensive end, a 3-4 stand-up rusher. But Nolan Smith, I think he's going to go in the first round. I think there's some refinement needed in his game, but I have a hard time not betting on athletes that are so explosive. So that's why he's number 5 for me. Dibes, you got him at number 6. What do you like about Nolan Smith?
I mean, I don't know if you touched on the combine, but just ridiculous measurables, man. 4.39 40-yard dash. That's faster than Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Stephon Diggs. He had a 41.5-inch vertical. Just elite measurables, man. Let's talk about him just being super raw. You know, the question is, can he be a 3-down starter, on the first day of the first time he wears an NFL jersey? I don't think so. I think he projects best as a starting outside linebacker in a 3-4. And I think he's a little bit quicker out of a 2-point stance. But I don't think he's limited to a 3-4. I think he could eventually play in the 3-point stance as a 4-3 edge down the line. But right now, he's not anywhere close to being a finished project. This guy is all about projection. And I think, like Shane said, like his ceiling rests on whether or not he can develop more of a pass rushing arsenal. But if he can, I mean, you're talking about a 10+ sack guy every year in Nolan Smith. I've got a round 1 through 2 grade on this guy, and wow, what a combine he had there a few weeks ago.
Yeah. All right, Mark, anything that you want to add on Nolan Smith?
My NFL comparison for Nolan Smith is DeAndre Hopkins playing defensive end.
It's like when Madden Ultimate Team does the out-of-position players every year. We got DeAndre Hopkins at D end here.
Yeah, and I've dropped the ball on a couple NFL comps throughout here, so let me just sprinkle in a couple that I didn't mention. I guess it's only just one. It's Miles Murphy. I didn't mention his, and I think he's got a little Bradley Chubb, a little Montez Sweat, so I wanted to throw that out there. I thought I forgot more than that, but I'm happy that I hit the other ones. Yeah, the only one that I have for Nolan Smith is DeAndre Hopkins to DN, because I truly don't know what you can compare Nolan Smith to. He's like a unicorn level prospect in terms of his speed and athleticism. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, he's the prototypical guy to skyrocket and end up going like 12th, right? It feels like we're going to end up there by draft day.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's so funny. Like people ask about how are these guys so much, faster now? We're getting, a defensive end running a 4.39 40 and things like that. But you got to remember, Nolan Smith is 238 pounds. Like in another era, there's no way that he couldn't have done it. He would have been playing like safety at that size. If you go look up, like, I don't know, like how big, what it was Mike Vrabel. Any idea? He was probably like
6'2".
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pull it up now. Mike Vrabel was 270 pounds playing linebacker, and now we've got Nolan Smith at 238. Like they're not. It's just the way football has changed. It's all about getting lighter. It's all about getting faster. So that's why you see all these combine just phenomenal performances. It's almost like when you look at these relative athletic scores, if it's not over a 9, it's not impressive, because everyone's just so athletic now because the players are just getting smaller and they're training better and they're faster, and it's all at the expense of something. It's at the expense of power, things like that. But so much fun to watch these guys and their explosiveness.